Hello, welcome to the channel. Making a video to cover the history of Eric July and EVS's drama, where it kind of began and how it's gotten to where it is, pretty much until the night letter situation happened, a little bit after. I'm making this video because, well, it doesn't seem like anyone else has a really good consolidated video of how the drama actually came to be. It's a lot of people pop into it, past couple months, maybe a year. The drama started way before that, and everybody knows it. It's going on in the indie sphere, but they don't necessarily know how it originated. So I'm kind of doing that here. Uh, make this like one stop shop for people to kind of see the timeline. I'm obviously going to miss some stuff. I'm also not going to have the time to cover everything. I'm just going to try to keep this a little consolidated. So if I miss something, put it in the comments. If it's worth it, I'll pin it. Make sure people know are aware of it, and then so yeah, just look in the comments. And then also, if I missed enough information, I'll make a continuing video, and that link will be in the description. If not, hopefully this is everything. So yeah, all right, let's go into my intro real quick.
Uh-oh, retard alert! Retard alert, class!
Presenting the short bus veteran. All right. I can't hear that, so hopefully you played the whole thing. All right. So to talk about where their drama started, between the two big indie comic book creators, one creating the largest comic book, well, the one that made the most amount of money, uh, Eric July and EVS, the runner, creator, or not the creator, but like the guy, the top dog of Comicscape. So it kind of feels like there's two sides of each thing. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I will mention I'm more favorable to Eric July in all this. The video evidence I'm going to show is the reason why. I'm not trying to do that. That is just my bias, and so you are aware going into this. Hopefully, if you have a different bias or whatever, you think that I'm wrong, make a video, let me know. I'll check it out. All right, so to talk about how this started, you have to really look at the situation that happened with EVS and Friday Night Tights and those people, Gary, Az from Heels versus Babyface, especially. The drama really started there with Zack Snyder and his appearance on Geeks and Gamers. Could there have been a rift between EVS and the guys starting up and everything behind the scenes, or even videos here and there? Maybe. I don't have it. I'm not gonna be able to dig that up, but that's besides the point. The clear divides happened during the Zack Snyder appearing on the Geeks and Gamer podcast live stream, and yes, that rippled all the way to Eric July and his their conflict. So, all right, let me I'll show the original Zack Snyder clip that kind of set this off.
Right.
Okay.
I'll help if I put it on screen. All right.
Listen, just a quick thing before we get started. I know that the on our donation page, we still have the Geeks and Gamers logo. I just want to say that I really we talked about this, and we're really not affiliated with Geeks and Gamers as far as I'm concerned, and I really just want to make that clear. And I also want to just say, in light of recent events, I think we really, if Justice League teaches us anything, it's about coming together, and there's no room for hate. And I just think that it's important. It's an important message. And of course, as the father of Asian children, it really hits close to home for me. And I just really want to put that out there, that we all, there's no room for hate, and that's just what it's about.
All right. Yeah, so right there, that was a big mishap. The Geeks and Gamer guys, they've talked about this, and on Friday Night Tight, they've talked about this plenty of times about how this kind of all divulged and went wrong. Zack Snyder really screwed him over right there, big time. It seems to be like kind of a misunderstanding, though. It has the appearance of calling them racist, and I do agree that it does have the appearance of that, and perception is reality. Either way, when this live stream was happening, it pissed EVS off really bad. Um, and he went on a tangent to talk about how pissed he was, and that this was happening and that they let this happen. And in my opinion, it's like, yeah, I'd say 2020, this was not a good move having Zack Snyder on, but I also don't see the problem with giving him a chance. It's kind of stupid to not at least seek that out, right? That opportunity. I completely screwed him over, but um, and EVS was right to rant about it, how like bad of a move this was, and they probably should have spoken up. And he's right; they should have spoken up and been like, "Hey, do you want to clarify that?" Or, "Hey, we're not. I hope you're not calling us racist." Either way, and I would show Ethan's rant, but I think it's deleted. Either way, I'm having trouble finding it. Um, but he called FNT and the whole lot of them a bunch of zeros. Um, Kind of, he was speaking generally, but at the same time, it was pretty spiteful when he said that, and yeah, that's kind of the start of the rift right there, because it was unnecessary dig. It kind of seemed like he was being a little opportunist there, but it saw like a chink in the armor essentially right there with Geeks and Gamers, and like hopped on to kind of like attack them at their weak point, right? Or when they're at their weakest. And there's kind of like an underlying theme I'll mention where it just seems that EVS generally doesn't like the Friday Night Tight guys, because what I get is that they're not creators, and they're he's not alone on this. There's a lot of people that are artists, creators, or whatever, and they really think that you need to be one practice. You need to practice the art in order to criticize the art, and if you don't do such, that uh, that you don't practice the art and you're criticizing it, that you're bullshit and you're just kind of hurting the community or something like that. And I think that's where his mentality is, and I think that's where he kind of built up some animosity between them. But that's just speculation. All right, so let's go into my next video. Um, let's see this one. We're gonna get a little bit of ES's side on this.
Of us would fall over our faces in order to just get a little attention from those people. Like if what's his name, Ryan Johnson, said, "I'll come on for an interview with you guys," then how many of us would be like, "Yeah, like definitely, I'd love to talk to Ryan Johnson." And by the way, once you got him on the air, would you be licking his balls? And I would guess, judging from what I learned over the past couple of years, that about 99% of these guys would be licking his balls. And that's what I learned. And a lot of it is just a grip.
Right there, I kind of think that's bullshit. Zack Snyder never hasn't really created any like sin against. He hasn't really ruined at this point, at least. He hasn't. Well, I don't think he's either done it yet either. But he hasn't like ruined an IP, an existing IP yet. He had adapted Watchmen, and that was a generally really liked adaptation. Same with 300. Not so much. Not too many people liked his Superman one, but he didn't do anything like overtly insulting to the character. So not not to like Ryan Johnson. Um, but even so, is there's just, you still want to like open communications with him at least, and you know, if you were to talk to Ryan Johnson and do what he said, yeah, then that's a completely different story. But yeah, it just putting Zack Snyder and Ryan Johnson in the same categories is just a false equivalence, I think. And I think this is very ironic too, with more current events, with the whole beef with what was it, the Robin Hood guy, and how Ethan kind of jumped on the Yellow Flash cast stream to kind of promote his book, and kind of sucked up to him. And I think it was really just to kind of cozy up to your enemy's enemy, because Az and that guy were beefing, and Az refused to have that guy on there because he called as and a bunch of racist, and he's like, "Yep, nope, not going to give this guy the time." Zack Snyder didn't do something anything like that, and I don't. If somebody doesn't like overtly give you a reason to like not platform them or or have a discussion, why not? Again, you can't know that what happened was going to happen. All right,
Grift to get super chats. I really don't like it. I mean what I say. I'm here for a purpose. The super chats are great. I appreciate them, but I'm fuck these people. I mean it. I mean when I say that. I'm not supporting them, and but I mean maybe that's just I'm a creative person too. So I've always seen other creative people as competition rather than. I don't really have a lot of respect for my contemporaries, even in the movie industry.
Yeah, I just kind of want to show those words. It doesn't feel like he does have respect for those people, and kind of shows. Also, very ironic with the super chat comment. If you've seen anything with EVS of lately, I think it's just been on like 2 weeks straight of like 3 to 4 hour live streams. Again, biggest criticism is that he's not getting his books out on time, and he's live streaming more than really anybody else I know. Getting a lot of super chats. So, look, his comic looks awesome. I have not read it. He's a great artist, but he's starting to become more of a YouTuber than an artist, which is kind of ironic. All right, let's see. I have another thing to play at 6:10. Let's see.
Money and give it to these people, even if it is for a charity. Do your own charity. It doesn't have to be associated with some Hollywood fucking hack. So anyway, they were all going to do hey, we're going to get him on our show. Now, Zack Snyder thought that he was going to be on there with Uche and some other people. He didn't know the.
Yeah, it mentioned the whole charity bit, and that kind of, with the Geeks and Gamer incident, made it difficult to kind of put Zack on the spot too, because there was a lot of money involved. Again, I don't see a problem with using Zack Snyder to when he appears on the show as an opportunity to raise money. I don't see a problem with that. I think it's just kind of bullshit criticism from EVS. All right, next video. Let's see.
And somehow a football player that was a part of Geeks and Gamers was invited to be a part of the charity, and because he was associated with Geeks and Gamers kind of shoehorned their way into the charity.
So, and this is his side of the story, which he does not have the details of the Geeks and Gamer side of the story, because that seems like it's insider information. Essentially, he's making speculation, and I think he does this a lot when he talks. He kind of says false stuff that sound pretty true, but they're just a little off, and it kind of paints these other people in bad pictures, in a bad frame, whatever. But yeah, all right, let's get to later in the video.
To this too, I think you guys could have done your own charity. You didn't need to do it as a piggyback onto a place where you weren't wanted by somebody who didn't like you. And you didn't know that. Like, the fans didn't know that. So Zack Snyder shows up, and he was shocked to see that he was in the company of Geeks and Gamers. And, he just took an opportunity to say, I told you guys I didn't want you here. And essentially called.
He knew Geeks and Gamers were there. He just didn't want their label to be anywhere associated with it, because that's probably what Zack Snyder was told, that he can't have any association with them, which is why he made that awkward comment that saying he's not associated with Geeks Gamers, which obviously he's not. All right, 5.
Called Geeks and Gamers and a hate group, and I just blew up at him. I just absolutely blew up. I went on my own stream and just blew up. The fuck.
I totally understand being really upset over like people you're associated with just taking that. I get that. I just should not have gone about it the way he did.
And they just stood there and took it. Like, it was just, they just wanted to be around Zack Snyder. It made me really, really angry that, it's like, at that point you had an opportunity to say to Zack Snyder, even though you admire him, he's calling out your audience. You know what I mean? It's like, this is not a moment that you let slip by. This is a moment where you say, listen, you're somebody who was just canceled by Hollywood. We're people who also feel.
Yeah, I think he's right. I think that's probably what they should have said. and it's not what happened. But there was a lot of pressure on them, so I'm like, it's understandable. But it is what it is. It sucks that that happened, but like for myself, I would have been more. I wouldn't have gone and attacked Geeks and Gamers for that whole situation. All right, I have a little bit more to show from this one clip.
That they feel like you understand them, and you come in here and you piss all over them, and you call them a hate group, and you tell them that you don't want their money, and they're not included, and they're not a part of this.
I question why I highlighted some clips. All right, this is a good screenshot to kind of show exactly what he said. Against somebody else's quote, but it's something. Sorry, I can't get the original clip. All right, when Ethan called the FNT zeros in July of 2021, he had a. Oh, yeah, this is to be context, kind of context of the size of the creators. So he called the FNT group zeros in July of 2021. He had a subscriber count of 140K, 45K. As of writing this, that has changed. In July of 2021, Gary has 344 subscribers. He currently has 961 subscribers. That's still talking about Gary. Ethan has yet to fulfill his campaign. Basically, all this is saying is that it's speculation of saying that his subscriber count wasn't going up as much as it was, and so he's kind of taking this opportunity to create drama and capitalize off of it. All right, this is an important video. This is kind of, and I'll show later. Gary from FNT wanted to bury this whole thing. He didn't want to create. He knew that having this drama between Ethan and FNT was not good for the culture, but Az was not happy about this because Az was included in this whole. He was a part of the FNT crew, so of course he's not happy. So let's play the first clip.
For them, I'm sure EVS can cope on his own. You know, I think the last time EVS spoke about me, he didn't say particularly flattering things. That I was Gary made my channel for me. That
I never said that.
I was that the only two people of relevance on Friday Night Sites are Gary and Jeremy.
No,
so,
Gary's the only one. Jeremy's not relevant.
Maybe I'll just let him do his own.
Yeah, so EVS is basically saying, it's like, oh, I was speaking generally, I only meant like Jeremy or one or two of the people, but I don't know. In the live stream that he did, he never specified otherwise. Maybe it was a mistake, but yeah, I don't know. That it's pretty harsh, and being being offended on behalf of your friends as well, kind of like you talk shit about me is one thing, but talk shit about my friends, that's kind of where I draw the line. And that's kind of how I feel as it's going about this.
Own stuff.
I've issued like 5 apologies in the course of this stream. I'll do it again. I'm sorry. I should have said bunch of zeros orbiting. Hold on a second. Bunch of zeros orbiting Gary and heel versus babyface, and then there's also Eric July who shows up there, and he's like a stabilizing force. You know, young Rippa.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. This is back when Eric and him were buddy. So yeah, what was I gonna say? Shit. Either way, it's kind of whichever way he phrases that, how he's gonna call people zeros. It's just unnecessarily malicious, and even if it's just directed at geeks and gamers, it's like, I'd be on Az right here as a side, being like, well, fuck you, dude. That was a cheap shot. You basically kicked the guy while he's down. Come on.
But he's not a zero. He's like a. If it's a 0 to 100, he's like a 100. You know. Yeah, I should have insulted Jeremy. I didn't mean to insult Az. I really didn't. God damn it.
And also, I kind of feel should mention There's speculation that the reason that he didn't want to insult Az is because Az does a toy channel, toy review channel, and that could have been bringing him more money for his Cyber Frog toys, and he kind of was thinking twice about including Az in that insult. But that is speculation.
You're making it a lot worse right now.
If only he insulted Jeremy
Hold
and
on,
meant
let's
it.
go.
So,
Why can't I
yeah.
fix this? Why am I digging this
And I
hole
put the
deeper?
appeal in. There's a video up on my channel about it, dude. There's a video up on my channel about it. I put my appeal in. My appeal was denied.
I don't know how to use Instagram. I have 2 Instagram accounts. I don't know how to use either of them. So I can't possibly reach out to Az and apologize to him. I would like to fix.
So yeah, he's making a claim that I tried to reach out personally to apologize because according to Az, he would have preferred the apology direct. Az was off Twitter at the time, so he's saying, "Well, I couldn't DM him." I'm calling bullshit. He could have hit up friends, being like, "Hey, where's his email address?" or something like that. He just didn't want to really make the effort. That's all I think it was. Also, I think he's kind of hesitant to. He's got the pride. He's got pride and doesn't want to apologize for. Nobody wants to kind of do like a. I don't know the proper words to describe that, but like sit in front of somebody and kind of like feel like you're being counsel judge. It's just one person, but I don't know. He should have done it though, in my opinion.
It, but I can't. All right, let's keep going.
While we're here as well, I do believe that I'm actually out of Oblivion. Yeah, all I said was all men must die.
That's
I
all.
quoted Game of Thrones.
That's all you said. All men must die.
I quoted Game of Thrones and
Did you go?
sent to us. So don't you want to get all uppity? That's what was said. I've got nothing against the guy, but I'm sure he can do his own shit by himself. He's a big boy with big connections and a big
Goddamn.
big boys.
Just understand what's going on here. Yeah, he's taking all types of shots at you. Calling you.
Slow down. They're talking fast. Yeah, this is a clip kind of explaining, just showing that where Az's state of mind is currently during this time.
Fat.
Not shitting on him at all. Is what is said about me.
What an asshole.
But what was said about me, and you can get all mad about that.
I am mad about it.
Sunshine.
On your behalf.
That's just what was said about me, and I just.
You didn't speak of him either. That's what.
No, I spoke around him, but not of him. You know. That's
Nothing
the
was said
problem.
about him. Yeah.
No, I never. What's so startling about this, Narwhal? This would be like suddenly you getting mad at me. I would be like, what is the problem? Like well, you said that comic skaters or something.
I think it's kind of important to see how he feels about Az now and how you're going to see how he feels about Az later, which he apologizes a bunch publicly in these live streams, which again is not a direct apology. I can understand changing your mind, but it's just kind of funny seeing this change. I'll mention he's talking about Narwhal right now.
Something, and then you personally take that to heart, and then you're mad at me. That's what this is like. I'd be like, why is Narwhal mad at me? What did I do?
I'm pretty sure that they don't talk anymore. I'm pretty sure there was, in the past month, there was recent drama about them. And that's kind of, look, I don't know exactly what goes on with the Comsgate stuff. I don't know anything about Narwhal or anything like that, but it's just so many people around EVS constantly eventually break ties with them. So it might not be his fault, but it's when there's that many things that happen, you kind of start to wonder. All right, clip at 12 minutes.
To get along, please. David H says, EVS, you did mention Az by name during his stream. You said he was a little-known gamer, paraphrasing, before joining Gary on Friday Night Tights. Ryan Odin and Comics Division aren't zeros. They're all good guys. Martin Cabildo.
So he's saying that he did directly talk about whoever the super chat or commenter was. Said they did specifically single out Az, but again, don't have the evidence for that. I don't have the fucking clip. If someone wants to send me that, that'd be great. Later on, EVS, of course, denies
So
this.
says, hey, Ethan, will you to Newark? Hope you have a great 4th of July weekend. I know I didn't say that about Az because I don't know where he came from.
Twitter Trash is saying I talked all over his tweet, and could you please read it again? Because he's never...
Okay. I mean, you can believe him or not. I honestly don't. I don't know. Maybe you did. Beside the point. All right. This is a clip that I recently dug up. All right. This is going to be a long clip. This really covers exactly how Gary feels about this, and also covers more about kind of like solidifying where Az stands on this whole point, where he's just kind of cuts ties with EVS at this point. And why I think this is important later is because Eric July being friends with these guys, them being in the same circle, when somebody's pissed about over somebody and there's drama going on, that can start to affect other people inside the circle. And that's why I say that the drama kind of starts with the Zack Snyder incident. And I will get in more details when we get closer to that breakup between Eric and EVS.
But if anybody needs to bail, they can bail. I understand. Jason Smoot gives us $200 on the Streamlab. Is this a Streamlab donation? Yes, it's a Streamlab donation. And it says, and this is to Az, but I'm going to answer the question first. Az and everyone else, EVS spent almost 2 full live streams apologizing. We understand if you want to still be upset, but the man all but begged you not to be angry. We all have a common enemy, and you're absolutely right, Jason. You're absolutely 100%. I'm aware that Ethan did that, and that's fine. Ethan, I wish Ethan all the best in his...
Do you mind if I pick this one up first, Gary?
Well...
It's too late.
I'm not going to... Don't worry.
I also want to mention this is an important clip because if you talk to people now, they claim that Gary never tried to patch things up. Now, maybe they know about this, maybe they don't, but they could also be maybe referring to other little small things that have happened to kind of like say that Gary's kind of been working behind the curtains to kind of facilitate other people, facilitate the bridge burning between EVS, kind of saying that he's like, he doesn't like him, so he's kind of working behind the curtains doing that. That's hearsay to me. I think he honestly was trying to patch it because I think everyone could see, especially with current what's going on current with the indie sphere, that this is the fight between Eric and EVS is bad. It's bad for everyone, and everyone's probably losing money off of this. The only one that's really probably gaining more money off of this right now currently is EVS. He's making a shit ton of money off of his streams. Big part of this is because he just got the art and talent to back up what he says with this stuff.
It's all good.
I was in the mid-sentence there, though.
Okay,
so, let me set the stage here because I think it's better if they hear it from me because I'm aware of this stuff because it's coming on Friday Night Tights.
Okay.
And I gotta mention how. Ethan can do his thing. I don't care what Ethan does. Ethan's made $4 million on campaigns, on 17 or 18 campaigns. He's got a great life. He is doing everything an independent artist should be doing. We have done nothing but support him. Last time he was on the show, we helped him raise thousands of dollars. That was the last time we really spoke. We talked about doing some other stuff together. It just didn't happen yet. I can't speak for Az, but what I can say is this stuff, it's more than just what Az said. There has been stuff I'm aware of everything that's been said about me, my show, my co-hosts, and everything on the internet, okay? People make me aware. I get sent clips. I subscribe to these channels. I watch the live streams. I watch what's being said on Twitter. I see what's being said in the chat, and you never hear me say anything. You want to know why? Because I don't care. I don't have a fragile ego. I don't give a shit. I'm not into drama. I'm fucking 51. I don't play fucking games. But
you don't look it.
There has been, thank you. There has been stuff being said for a very long time, including accusations of all kinds of stuff. And I don't care. They are free to say it. I am here to fight the battle, the big battle. I am not here to get into little squabbling anything with YouTubers ever.
Yeah, I think that's true. Mainly because we want to see better content out there, no matter what the medium. And this fight does the opposite. And I will mention right here, with Az kind of not accepting the apology, say we will, I think he fucking I think he made a really good move here because especially I'm not talking about financial move. I just think from what happened with EVS and Eric, I think he kind of saw EVS as a snake, and that's kind of how I see him. And he just called it a lot earlier and just not accepting the fact that his words were just misinterpreted. EVS's words, that is.
I don't play. My DMs work. They're open. My email works. It's open. If anybody has an issue with me or what I do, or if they think I'm just being angry to be angry, they can ask me. They can ask me. But I actually care about this shit. I am into this culture war to fucking win it. I actually believe this shit. I may be a big fucking dummy, but I actually believe this shit. And I think if we're fighting amongst each other, our detractors and the fucking big tech, they fucking win every time. So I completely agree with you, Jason. We got to keep our eye on the prize and actually just focus on that stuff. And whatever people say is what people say. Az.
Yeah, Jason, to answer your question, EVS did spend 2 streams saying sorry to you on my behalf. He, like Gary just said, he can get hold of me.
So this gets, I think, misinterpreted by a lot of people what his intent is there. He's kind of being a little vague. Is what he means is because the apology wasn't direct, that he's really just more speaking to his audience, saying that like, oh, I'm apologizing to as to kind of notify his audience that that's what he's doing, when it's not in reality like an actual apology. I don't know if that sounds confusing, but I hope you can get what I mean when I say that.
He knows how to get hold of me. He can get hold of me through email. And in actual fact, he sent you guys out to apologize on his behalf and try and get me into the stream. So it's amazing how I have loads of emails from you lot. I have loads of messages on Instagram from you lot. I haven't heard a peep from EVS. Not a single solitary word. He could contact me if he wants to. Just like Gary, I ain't got time for drama. I ain't got time for that stuff. I think it's low rent. I think it's a waste of fucking time. I think some people need to have drama in their life, and they need to keep that going. I'm not going to play those games. I'm not going to play those games. I got my channel to concentrate on. I've got my Friday Night Tights to concentrate on, and I love my fucking co-hosts. And my ego is not fragile enough that I have to accept an apology for somebody while they slag off the rest of my co-hosts. Okay? Friday Night.
Yeah, and that's where I think the real root of it is. It's like you don't get to just insult my my coworkers, and EVS never apologized to any of that, and I don't see why why he needed to insult them in the first place. That's what I think. All right, and this is just kind of get EVS's reaction to this.
To talk about it. Gary's like, I got this situation. We just want to make peace here. Gary handled the Doomcock situation elegantly. He did. I stream sniped him during this conversation where he was just like, look, this is the situation.
I want to show this because it kind of reconfirms that Gary was in fact trying to patch things up, and I think EVS saw that. So could more things happen? Yes, but I think for argument's sake, especially if you're on Twitter, Gary tried to patch this up until we get any other evidence. Otherwise, that's what happened. All right, I'm going to play a little bit of this. It's a lot of ass ranting on this. These are from the same podcast we just watched, though.
I have to accept an apology for somebody while they slag off the rest of my co-hosts.
I stand by it. What can I tell you? I feel like I did everything that was humanly possible. I feel like, when I was angry, I said something that was not a direct attack on a few people who it was intended for, but a lot of people got caught up in my net. For that, I apologized publicly. My apology was thrown back in my face.
Okay. Friday Night Tights is growing.
Yeah, it wasn't a good apology. I think he's trying to claim that there people misinterpreted his words, but I don't think there really was much, and I think he's just trying to word his way around the controversy.
And it's thanks to people like yourself and others that are coming into the stream and watching us. And I don't think it's because there's any one particular person or two particular people that are doing it. I think it's the sum of everyone. I think it's the sum of every single one of these co-hosts that are here. Odin.
Okay, we don't need to hear all that ranting. I'm trying to make this go faster, but sorry, guys. All right. All right. So while all that happened, again, before the actual rift between EVS and Eric July, and I will mention here, a good part of this rift was because ISOM wasn't that great. It wasn't. I kind of enjoyed the first one. It was okay, in my opinion. Second one, I enjoyed, but generally speaking, it wasn't that great. And with the ever-growing drama between him and Dick Masterson and just all these other people, that Eric July kind of created this whole monetize your haters mentality. He kind of made himself a target, and at that point, it's like the product really needs to be good to kind of like shut your haters up, but it wasn't good enough to do that. He opened himself up to a lot of potential criticism there. And then there was a lot of DMCA claims, and I bring this up. I say DMCA. I don't know if all these were DMCA or they were just what's it called when you mark somebody as copyright strikes. It's a little bit different, right? Either way, it's important because that apparently upset people like EVS. It upset Gata. It kind of upset this growing divide in the community a little bit. And also, I should mention Dick and Vito. Like, they're on the EVS side of this whole situation right now, and they also were integral into creating this divide that we are at right now. Oh, all right. So I'm just gonna play like 10 seconds of this. This is well, I don't even need to. This is Eric's tweet on the screen right now, kind of dismissing the DMCA claims. And I will say, I get that some people post like 30 pages or so like that, and that seems egregious. I can kind of understand if that was taken down. Look, this one is kind of up in the air. I don't necessarily know if some of these strikes were unnecessary or not. I don't. I don't have the details of them. The only other I've tried to look at some of them, but it's too much information to kind of siphon through. I do know one of the strikes, at least, was against the Geek Getaway, which I've appeared on one of his shows before. He was nice to me. We debated a little bit, but so there's a claim. This seems Andrew Rodriguez, which I believe works for the Rippaverse, and it looks like it's a no shit DMCA strike or copyright strike. I don't know, honestly. He claims it's DMCA strike. Now, this is because he linked to a 4chan site that had the archives of the ISOM books, the digital copies. So DMCA strike, and so people can't get a rip-off, what's it called? Rip-off copies of digital copies of ISOM. That seems fair, but I guess legally, because it was a link to the site that had them, that's not, you can't DMCA strike somebody for that. But that's such a loophole. You're doing the same thing as that illegal or DMCA strikeable offense just by proxy. So even if you are allowed to do it, it's still fucked up. And also, I could totally understand somebody trying to strike you for that, believing that it is an offense, even if it's not. You could definitely see somebody making that slight mistake. Even so, it's illegally downloading or copying this stuff by proxy. I think this is a bullshit hit at Eric for it. Like, glad you didn't get actually struck for something since you didn't break any actual rules, but still, come on, man. That's bullshit. All right. So again, this is a big one. The Dick Masterson incident. And so a little bit backstory of how we got into this. Vito, a guest on Dick Masterson's show, or not guest, a co-host, he's not liked in a lot of these communities. He's the FNT crew does not like him because of a fake copyright strike or DMC strike or something like that that Vito tried to do against them. And so yeah, not a lot of people like him. There's also a little pedo claims against him, but I don't think those are true. You can watch this clip and see more into that. But essentially, Vito was calling out ISOM that it was going to be trash before it ever came out. It came out, and Dick Masterson agreed, and basically they made a video criticizing it. Eric criticized their criticism, which is fair. You can do that. And said basically, because some of the criticism that they had didn't stand up, that they didn't trust their criticism. And it's important to note that Dick Masterson has said that he's actively trying to ruin Eric's business. I don't remember exactly at what point that happened, but that brings up a big discussion of valid and invalid criticism according to EVS. I think it's a stupid argument, especially because when you talk to people, they think valid criticism's any criticism, whether bad or good, against the art, which is a fair definition. But it is very obvious that EVS talks about valid and invalid criticism as good and bad criticism, as in like good criticism is going to, if you take it, it's going to benefit your art continuing on, probably like financially or story wise, and vice versa, and that's all subjective. And he speaks about it as if it's definitive. So when he says that Dick Masterson has valid criticism, he's speaking as if it's valid. That's objective. And honestly, that's probably one of the hardest things to decipher between people, because you can have friends that give you criticism, and it could be bad criticism. There's no real and honest way to tell that. But here is a really good starting point. Probably don't listen to somebody who is actively trying to get your business ruined and has stated as such. It's like, don't listen to all the criticism you get from people that you trust. Because just because you trust them doesn't mean that they're going to unintentionally give you bad advice. But you can guarantee that there's a good chance that Dick Masterson is going to give you bad advice. Anyways, they pop up there. These two guys, or three of them, or EVS, Eric, and Dick, show up on the Flashcast and kind of have it at each other a little bit. Just play a little bit, kind of get a little taste.
So childish and insecure. You know that, right?
I disagree. I think you're dramatizing what's happening, but I'm cool with that.
That you have no fucking plot, that you have no.
I don't know why that fast flash forward so far ahead. All right, so they're going back and forth. Essentially, there is no winning this for Eric, because Dick's just a troll, and he's literally just going to try to get a rise out of him. But where this really screws up for Eric is that EVS backs up Dick on a lot of this. It's kind of fucked up. As a friend, you shouldn't back up somebody else who actively is trying to ruin your business. And that's where Eric gets kind of fucking pissed off. He's like, "What? As a friend, why are you gonna do this to me?" And I think this is an important clip I'm gonna play. Well, actually, you almost got me there. This is kind of Ethan's point on this whole thing.
It's not good.
Dick, the problem is that you attacked his business first.
Yeah.
And that's why he's not listening to you. The reason why he's not receptive to what you have to say is because you attacked his business first and foremost. And then you went ahead and gave your notes about the book. And so he's mad because you called him a scammer and you attacked the woke thing. And you do that and you're going to shut somebody down.
Yeah, I agree with EVS at this point. But I think before or after he says, well, you should still listen to Dick because he has valid criticism. Look, did Dick give some good criticism in his criticism? Probably. He probably did. But again, as a creator, and the most difficult thing is deciphering what is good and bad criticism. And there's people you should just not listen to. Maybe they have just bad track record. Or they're trying to ruin your business. And Dick is that. And EVS is trying to convince Eric that he should listen to him. And that is bad advice. Now, that doesn't mean that if Eric did listen to Dick's advice, that he might potentially be creating a better story. That could be a possibility. That's not something you want to chance, though. Because, again, you can make any claim that criticism is good or bad. You can make that my criticism, you could say it's bad, you could say it's good. It's all subjective, right? All right. So, all right. Yeah, covered valid criticism. And now we get to the night letter. So, let me pre-emphasize this. Oh, that's not the night letter. Where's the night letter? Oh, is it? Oh, moved I? Okay. Wait, I guess, did the Nick? You know what, the Nick situation happened first. Okay, now Nick Rekieta. If you know Nick Rekieta, he got involved with this. I guess he's friends with Dick, and, yeah, I guess Eric thought he could, kind of debate Nick about this whole situation. Oh, man. Oh, I forgot I had to go into this. Essentially, somebody visited his warehouse, right? I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep this short. Shit. Somebody went to his warehouse who is a hater of Eric, and he's, I think, a producer in Dick and Vito's show. And he just trolled them. He like put some money on their warehouse, and it created this whole backlash where Eric started claiming that he could shoot him and all this other stuff and legal action, blah 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 blah. Nick Kita, I guess, was siding with Dick, basically. I assume because they're friends, saying that like, look, I don't agree that you should do this, do what that guy did, but it's perfectly legal. And that's kind of where Eric kind of wanted to argue with him, and I think Eric kind of lost this debate, and yeah, I don't think this went well for him, and that was another whole point against Eric and the whole climate. But my argument for this is that Eric got lawyered. Nick is a lawyer, and any lawyer, a good lawyer, should be able to convince you of any side, right? So I felt like Nick did a good job arguing for that troll's behalf, and that pissed off Eric, understandably, and he wasn't able to argue well enough to kind of make his point, and this became socially an L for Eric, I believe. So that pissed him off. Do I have anything to show from this?
You don't think that anybody? You say you don't like that when people try to fuck with other people's business.
No, I don't.
Okay, so is your claim that your partner or your friend, as you put it, so you don't think he's tried to fuck with someone else's business?
It depends on what exactly you mean by that.
No, I want to know what you think. Because I mean, you're.
And this is where I'm talking about. I'm sorry, I'm not going to show the clips that kind of side with Nick more on this, but just don't have the time to that. But Eric is building a harassment case right here, and I think that's where it's a difficult case to build, especially when you're arguing against a lawyer. But I think there's a lot of evidence of harassment, especially that guy being, if he is a producer of that, of Dick and Vito's show. Yeah, and just driving out of his way to find a warehouse that's not really listed. It is public, legally it's public, but it's not an easy place to find. And there's crazies on the internet. And I know some people know this guy and they're like, oh, he's harmless or whatever. But as far as Eric and his employees know, they don't know. They don't know what this guy is. It could be a fucking crazy that's there to stab all of them. If you remember that one random YouTuber that years ago just showed up to the YouTube headquarters and shot a few people, I think it happened. It was a woman too. Look, you don't. Crazies are scary. Doesn't matter who you are, how big you are. Crazies are fucking scary. And having some fat weirdo drive like across a couple of states, in Texas being the biggest state, just to like tag some money onto their warehouse, and you don't know what the fuck they're doing there. You just know that they're kind of stalking you. Yeah, that's kind of a cause for concern. And yeah, could he have shot him? I don't know. I don't know the law. Probably not, and that was probably stupid of Eric to mention. But that's kind of why it became social help for him. But I will mention, currently, Nick Arcade is kind of a locale. I think I was watching a clip with Kiwi Farms, I guess, claiming he's the locale of the year. So that's an interesting fact. I don't know. It's beside the point. I'm not going to go into tangents about Nick Arcade and what's going on with him currently. But all right. Oh, why did I have this clip pulled up? Fuck, sorry guys. Let me see. Oh yeah.
Drinking when you're married with 5, 6, 7 fucking children in your 40s. How about act your fucking age? How about grow up and accept the responsibilities of your life? Fuck, man. I'm 27 years old. I don't go out fucking drinking and partying anymore.
Well, I don't fucking...
I don't know why I played that. That's not fair. All right. I rescind that from the record. All right. Here's a picture, like on the same weekend. As that whole warehouse thing, or maybe a following weekend. This guy, I think it's the same guy. visited the grave of Eric's like great grandfather. Very crazy, very stalkery, very fucking weird. It's a troll, and this kind of made a big change into how Eric is doing business. That's why he stopped. I know everybody thinks kind of convenient for him to stop the monetize your haters thing, but as you can see, he attracted the trolls and he attracted the crazies, and therefore putting his people, his employees in danger. And so he is trying to stop doing that. Stop trying to antagonize the crazies, essentially. Don't know who on the internet is fucking crazy. So that's why I believe he stopped doing that stuff, and I think that's true. All right, the Night Letter.
I'm going to be 100 with you.
All right. So, the Night Letter. And for context, he dropped this Night Letter around the same time all this other stuff, all that harassment things kind of stuff was going on. Again, this seems very similar to the situation that happened with FNT. It feels opportunist. It felt like it's like right now is the time to strike. I felt like he was building a divide between, well, because of this text message, kind of like siding with Dick and getting this text. He kind of was like, it felt like he was just kind of waiting for his opportunity to release this to the public. So, all right, let me read it for you. Sorry, I suck at reading. I'm going to be 100 with you and not be public for this. You've gone out of your way to play the middle of the road publicly with a dude that has gone out of his way to work overtime to publicly defame me is whack. It's even weaker that you lend credence to their narrative. I treat you like I do anybody else in this space, and I do not use my platform to amplify narratives that go against others I'm cool with. Everybody I do show streams knows not to bring up any gripes with people I'm cool with, as I will not give it the time of day. I'm going to start reciprocating on that. If you want to chat about it, I'm free to call. Okay. So essentially what this is, and what I think, so he obviously EVS, he sees this as a threat. I see this more as I'm just going to stop telling people to not talk shit about you. That's not like actively going out to attack him. That's just, I'm just going to, look, you obviously don't have my back. Why do I have your back? You're defending this guy who's trying to destroy my business. And what I think, we look at it as, right? The whole Zack Snyder incident and stuff like that, as is not cool with EVS. FNT kind of at this point, not really cool with EVS. Eric July goes on streams with them. And he probably, before the show starts or anything like that, it's like, hey, I know you're not cool with EVS. Don't bring it up. Because he's my boy. I'm just not going to take that. They're like, cool, let's have a stream. And this is all potentially not true, but I really believe that's kind of how those situations are going. And he's looking after that whole debacle with Dick. He's looking at this like, why am I defending this guy? Or why am I telling people not to talk shit about him? He's perfectly fine with people coming out here and talking shit about me and then telling me I have to take their criticism. It's bullshit. So I know a lot of people, if you watch this, probably gonna disagree with me, but that's my opinion on it. If you see it as a threat, that's fine. So at this point, this is released publicly, and it's official. Eric and EVS hate each other. So that's kind of the history of this. I do have this a little bit out of order. I thought I had a clip somewhere with Rikita. Basically, Eric going to him, or Rikita saying like, hey, or Eric saying like, you never reached out to me about this whole thing, I guess before drama was starting. And Rikita goes like, well, I've checked my DMs, I've checked my email and everything. I never got anything from you. And Eric's like, yeah, because you're the one talking shit about me. He's like, you went on streams talking shit about me. He's like, I was responding to the shit that you were talking about. I wish I had that clip to pull up, but sorry. I don't know where it went. And so to go back to how fucking creepy this shit is, I think this is the guy that showed up to the warehouse, right? Yeah, with the showing up at the warehouse, right?
The audio to make sure the show's not actually fucked up.
All right, at the Rippa versus Alpha Core #1 quick review. I didn't really know what to expect.
All right, that's not where it is. 1 sec, bear with me, guys. I got it. Watching these guys are. I'm sorry. No offense to them. This was really hard to watch.
Tagging himself. So we have here on Twitter an obsolete platform that I don't use.
That was bound to happen, definitely with the internet. And
that was bound to happen. See, he's like, it's not even because people found out where it is that our locations are. Yes, it is. That warehouse was so much not known about where it was that some people in the hater sphere, some people were convinced that it didn't even exist.
All right, he's discussing about how difficult it was to find that warehouse. This guy really fucking went out of his way to find his warehouse. That's creepy. That's fucking insane. And yeah, I that is something to be concerned about. If you watch this guy and you think that he's not crazy, fair, maybe he's not. But if you have somebody willing to go through those steps, he's probably not the only one. There's probably other people that are insane, fucked up in the head, and you gotta be careful with that shit. So again, that's why you don't really see Eric doing the monetize their haters thing. He doesn't want to poke them. Don't poke the bear. All right. What else I got for you as I close this up right before an hour? I'm not going to show this. This is just a clip of Ethan saying that he loves drama. It's ironic. And what else I got? Oh, yes. Just some irony of Ethan just being very fake. This is how he talked about Eric's comic before they hated each other. He talked about how great it was and how good the storytelling was and how great the art was. This is a great example of somebody who is that you trust and gives you good criticism, or gives you criticism that you think is good because you trust them, and it's bad. That just goes to show. Yeah, I think Az called it. Like, I don't think, especially with how he talks about ISOM now, I don't know how you could ever mention things like this. You were better off just not saying anything. I don't know how you could say all these really nice things about ISOM and then just go completely 360 on it. It's just be really fucked up. As you know, as somebody as a friend, being like, you know, hearing all this like criticism of your story, how bad it is currently, and then like think it back, like, well, when I showed it to you before I released it, you said all these great things. Like, what the fuck, dude? Or maybe he didn't have a preview, but still, it's just snakish behavior. That's kind of where I stand. All right, well, hopefully I did a good job kind of showing you. Sorry, throat's dry. How all this history started. Started with Zack Snyder. And that's where we're at now. I'm not covering all the other little drama. I just wanted to kind of piece together everything. Hopefully I did a good job kind of breaking this down and giving you a good understanding. And sorry it's this long. I wanted to kind of keep it under 30 minutes, but it is what it is. Again, comment or something. If you got anything else that I should add to this, please subscribe. I did a lot of work on this, man. There's a lot of things to watch. But mostly I did this out of curiosity, and I felt like I should share my curiosity because it is super hard. You can find decent clips of little things here and there, but you can't find like the whole story. So, all right, please subscribe. You know, share this around. You know, I'm not afraid to argue my points. If anyone bigger wants to try to argue against me, it's cool. I'm cool. I can fight. All right. Later.